Where will this Destiny group be based? Space?
No need for that. See, it just so happens that the Ark Society bought a swathe of Arctic land from Denmark.
The Hyperborea site. The world's first sovereign corporate state. Holy shit.
Not bad, huh? I guess that makes you and me ambassadors. The constant never ceases to amaze me.
Over here.
You two must be Burnwood and Vidal.
And you must be Yates's garbage man. Sorry, but I didn't catch your name.
This is Corvo Black, Tamara. He's a ICA regular.
I only work with the best.
Well, we're all here, it seems. Except for our guide, the chief winemaker. Look. Like we're stuck here until someone fetches him. Mr. Black, I'm looking in your direction.
Hold on. I'll track him down.
Attaboy. Do try and bring him back in one piece. Counterintuitive as that may be.
That was a bit rude.
Yes, yes it was.
So, you really was telling me.
What's going on with me? God, my ears. My head. I should do it now.
What? What is it now? What?
You have some guests waiting. Senor Yates wanted you to give them the grand tour. Remember?
As if I don't have more important things to do than babysit Yates' socialite friends. It's only harvest season.
Better do what he says, Patron. Big shot New York lawyer like that. Don't want to get on his bad side.
Well, I'm not going anywhere until I have decided if the crop is right for picking. Bring me the 3 Malbec grapes to taste, Ramon. If Yates doesn't like how I prioritize, he can weigh me down with concrete and toss me off a bridge. How's that?
3 grapes, was it? I'll get my picking knife.
Every time I got out laugh, I know the looking down is watching, enjoying the show.
Oh, man, come on. I left it right here. Seriously, who takes another man's picking knife? Aye, it's gonna be one of those days, isn't it?
Now, what am I doing here? Sí, ahora me acuerdo.
Mr. Vargas, I have the 3 grapes you requested.
Yes, good. Bring him here. Now, let's see.
¿Quieres una menta? Uf, porque la necesitas.
Now, let's see. A lovely inky black color. Good size, large and firm. Seeds brown. Excellent. And finally, taste. Sweet, flavorful, robust tannins. Some floral notes. Marvelous. Why, I say these grapes are ripe for harvest. Inform the workers, will you, Ramon? I have a third to contact.
Will do.
Ah, my fellow wine lovers. Hello. Welcome to Vineda Yates. I do apologize for the delay, but the Malbec grape is a demanding mistress. So, I am Gabriel Vargas, Chief Winemaker, and I will be your tour guide. Any questions before we start?
Yes, but you're not going to like them.
We're good. Lead the way, Senor Vargas.
Wonderful. Follow me. These are busy times. In fact, we're just about to harvest this year's crop. Great expectations. So, how do you like Argentina?
Like everywhere else, full of Americans.
First stop on the tour is the production floor, where our prize-winning Malbec grapes are processed. We insist on steaming every grape by hand, which means that during harvest season, the grapes do tend to pile up. Luckily, we have plenty of storage space. Our equipment is state-of-the-art, including an industrial-sized freezer unit, and last but not least, our trusty grape crusher.
Interesting. Wouldn't you say, Mr. Black?
Follow me, please.
Are you a wine man, Black? Somehow you don't seem the type.
Oh, I believe Mr. Black here is something of a jack of all trades. Isn't that so?
I dabble.
I see. I just thought Yates might be sending a message. My mistake.
So, have any of you been to a vineyard before?
Only on business.
Next on our tour is the fermentation atrium, where the wine goes through its primary stage of fermentation. In these big open tanks, yeast converts the sugars in the wine to alcohol, in a process that lasts between 5 and 15 days. This is also where we squeeze the mass into a fine juice using our grape presser before the longer secondary stage of fermentation.
Fascinating.
Now, before we move on, do any of you have questions?
How about you, Mr. Black? You look like you have something on your mind.
I have a question. It's... perhaps we can take a closer look.
Certainly. Lead the way.
What can you tell me about this device? Grape presser, was it?
That is correct, senor. After primary fermentation, the mass is pressed through a fine filter, leaving only the flesh and skins behind. I should add that grape stomping, the iconic practice of crushing grapes with your bare feet, is historically rare and mostly a tourist gimmick. But you are most welcome to try. Imagine you're a grape.
Thanks. I'll pass.
Go on. I'll take a picture of the three of you.
Oh, come on, Tamara. When in Rome.
Fine.
Say queso.
May I see that, Mr. Vargas? I believe I blinked.
So, this is you there. Excuse me. Look at it. Does that face ring any bells?
No, all good.
Say queso.
May I see that, Mr. Vargas? I believe I blinked. good. Looks like one for the mat.
What happened to your colleague?
Urgent call. Something about work. I don't think she'll be coming back.
Oh well. I'm sure she can find her way out. Grape presser for the longer secondary stage of fermentation.
Fascinating.
Now, before
I have a question. It's... perhaps we can take a closer look.
Certainly. Lead the way.
I'm interested in these containers.
Ah, yes. Our large fermentation tanks are constructed from solid French oak and each contain up to 500 gallons of grey must.
Interesting. Are those cooling sockets?
They are indeed, senor. The cooling system allows us to fine-tune the entire process. Temperature, humidity levels, etc. Our goal here at Jedi Yates is quite simple. From the state-of-the-art winemaking facility to our carefully nurtured grape stock, hand-picked with loving care by local experts, we have only one purpose: to make the best vinos in Argentina and beyond.
Well, looks like an accident waiting to happen.
Occupational hazard. Eh, Burnwood?
Any further questions? Ask away.
What can you tell me about this grape crusher?
Well, as the name implies, it crushes the steamed grapes into a thick pulp or must by a powerful rotating cylinder. She is one of the most important appliances in our production pipeline.
Have you heard any workplace accidents?
Well, fall into the vat and get crushed to a pipe. You'd have to be a bona fide idiot. Waste of space, Leslie.
Yes, well, fortunately, we have had none of that. So if there's no further questions...
Ah, yes. Just loved.
Without time running. Vente. Let's continue to the barrel room, if you'll follow me. Grape presser for the longer secondary stage of fermentation.
Fascinating.
Now, before we move on, do any of
I have a question. It's... perhaps we can take a closer look.
Certainly. Lead the way.
What can you tell me about this freezer?
This is an industrial cold storage unit where we keep our excess grape stock to prevent decay. It easily reaches temperatures of -10 degrees Celsius. Trust me, you don't want to stay in here for long.
No kidding. Hey, there's no doorknob on the inside. Seems like a pretty glaring safety omission, if you ask me.
Probably soundproof, too.
And good luck getting a phone signal.
Such imaginations you have. But there really is no need to worry. Why? We haven't had an accident since Mrs. Yates' dog was run over by a grey picker. Now, are there any more questions? Don't be shy.
I got all I need.
Are you enjoying yourself, Mr. Black?
Oh, it's all very inspiring.
Winemaking is a grand pursuit. Sure. Everyone talks about craft beer these days. You can make this IPA in your country. Pressure for the longer secondary stage of fermentation.
Fascinating.
Now, before we move on, do any of you have questions?
I have a question. It's... perhaps we can take a closer look.
Certainly. Lead the way.
I'm interested in these containers.
Ah, yes. Our large fermentation tanks are constructed from solid French oak and each contain up to 500 gallons of grey must.
Interesting. Are those cooling sockets?
They are indeed, Senora. The cooling system allows us to fine-tune the entire process. Temperature, humidity levels, etc. Our goal here at Viñeda Yates is quite simple. From a state-of-the-art winemaking facility to our carefully nurtured grape stock, hand-picked with loving care by local experts, we have only one purpose: to make the best vinos in Argentina and beyond.
Well, looks like an accident waiting to happen.
Occupational hazard. Eh, Burnwood?
Excelente. Let's continue to the barrel room, if you'll follow me. Great pressure for the longer secondary stage of fermentation.
Fascinating.
Now,
I have a question. It's... perhaps we can take a closer look.
certainly, lead the way.
What can you tell me about this freezer?
This is an industrial cold storage unit where we keep our excess grapes stocked to prevent decay. It easily reaches temperatures of -10 degrees Celsius. Trust me, you don't want to stay in here for long.
No kidding. Hey, there's no doorknob on the inside. Seems like a pretty glaring safety omission, if you ask me.
Probably soundproof, too.
And good luck getting a phone signal.
Such imaginations you have. But there really is no need to worry. Why? We haven't had an accident since Mrs. Yates' dog was run over by a grape picker. Anything else you wish to know? There's really no trouble.
I got all I need.
Are you enjoying yourself, Mr. Black?
Oh, it's all very inspiring.
Winemaking is a grand pursuit. Sure. Everyone talks about craft beer these days. You can make a decent IPA in your pantry. It is pedestrian. No, this, my friends, this is true grandeur. And so we arrived to our final stop, the barrel room. This is where we store the wine during the secondary stage of fermentation. The area behind the glass is where we keep our most precious bottles, including a 1945 Grand Paladin, del Excelente. So let's continue into the barrel room. Here comes Senor Yates now. I shall leave you in his capable hands.
How reassuring.
Ah, Miss Burnwood, is it not? Don Yates, pleased to meet you. You come very highly recommended. As Chief of the Heralds, let me be the first to say welcome aboard.
Why, thank you, Mr. Yates. Rest assured that I will be following your every lead very closely.
Say, that reminds me. We're about to have a little Herald get-together up at the house. Just a modest toast to celebrate my forthcoming inauguration as Constant. You are, of course, most welcome to join us. I believe you shall make a fine Herald once the training wheels are off.
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Capital. Right this way, into the lion's den. Why don't you take a break, Corvo? We're done here for now, I think. Oh, but don't go too far. I may still need your services later.
I'll be closer than you think.
Oh, almost forgot. Cortazar, please nip down to the wine cellar and tell Mr. Flowers, the sommelier, to prep the 1945 Grand Paladin and bring it up to the house for our special occasion.
Got it, Chief. Flowers. Mr. Yates wants the 1945 Grand Paladin brought up to the house. Special occasion.
What? What, did aliens land on the front lawn? Have the ghosts of Jesus, John Lennon, and Eva Perón unexpectedly come for dinner? Help me out here. What could possibly be so special?
Above your clearance, Flowers. Just fetch it already.
Fine. What's the passcode again?
Last year of World War II. If you have to look it up, shame on you.
A meeting in the root cellar. And judging from Yates's choice of wine, some type of celebration. Likely a gathering of heralds. come to congratulate Yates on his upcoming promotion. Diana's presence, a calculated risk.